What's up, YouTube? Back with POV video number 2. Have some cards I need to take pictures of for the eBay store, as well as a few slabs for the online store. We have bulk on the left, probably won't touch today, and a bunch of singles that I'll be taking pictures of. Some promos, base set singles, Team Rocket singles, and some Japanese, I want to say from 97 to 2000. You probably already noticed the rig. I want to start off by saying that this is completely unnecessary and is overkill. You don't need a $1,000 camera. You don't need a monitor mount. This is stuff that I already had. I didn't spend any extra money for this purpose. I would highly suggest to use the stuff you have on hand. I'm going to assume you have a cell phone. Just use your cell phone. Your cell phone is plenty good enough to take pictures for eBay. What I would recommend, though, is some sort of backdrop, a plain black or maybe white backdrop. That way, when you take a picture, you are focusing on the item itself and nothing around it. If I were to take a picture just directly on the table, I mean, that does work, but it just looks a bit nicer when you have a backdrop that's just one color. And some good lighting. You definitely want good lighting when you take a picture. The room that I'm currently in has terrible lighting. So I bought an LED lamp from eBay. This was like 20 bucks. It dies after 10 minutes, but does the job. And this is what I'm working with. So when I'm taking a picture, the first thing I do is prep. So I have the stack of cards that I want to take a picture of. All these cards are pre-sleeved. When I'm taking the actual picture, I do take the card out of the sleeve because you want the most accurate picture of the item you're selling. I have this set up to 1:1 for the ratio. That way it's already a square. Don't have to do any editing later. Make sure it looks good. Take the picture, front, as well as back. And once I do the front and back, I put it back in the sleeve. If I could get it back in the sleeve. And I also put it in a card holder, which all singles will be shipped out with. And I try to center it as much as possible in the card holder, because when it's back in the card holder, I take a picture of the card in the card holder. And those 3 pictures is what goes up on eBay. So you have the picture of the front of the bear card, you have the picture of the back of the bear card, and then you have the picture of the card and the card holder. I have about, I want to say, close to 100 cards to go through. I'm going to kind of speed through these. Oh, also what I do want to mention, I have 3 of the same card. These are promos from, I believe, 1999. These are not the movie promos, I'll be honest. I have no idea what promos these are. But these are base set Mew promos, Black Star promos. I have 3 of these. I do see sometimes on eBay where a seller is listing, let's say if they have 10 of these, they'll post a listing with this picture and quantity 10. I like to avoid doing that. These 3 cards will have their own separate listing, because I'm going to assume as a buyer that if you're buying a Pokemon card on eBay, you're eventually going to want to get them graded. Maybe not, but that's just my assumption. The first thing that you're going to want to look at when you want to grade a card and you're buying it off eBay is centering, as well as any whitening on the back. So if I were to post a listing of this Mew and say, hey, I have 3 of these, but it's going to be the same picture for all 3 postings, that wouldn't do justice to the buyer, because as a buyer, you want to look at the exact card that you're planning to buy. And when you're looking at pictures on eBay, first thing you look at, I would assume, is centering, as well as any whiteness on the back. And obviously these 3 cards are going to be different as far as centering goes. So if you go through these, this one is probably the best candidate for getting graded out of the 3. So what I like to do is these 3 cards are to get their own listing on eBay, and I mark them on my end as far as which one is which. That way, when you buy a card on eBay in my store, you are going to get the exact card that's in the listing. I specify that in the description as well. It does say that the picture of the card in this listing is the card that you're going to receive. Just like this here. I have a bunch of Charmander base sets, and these are all going to get their own listing separately versus one listing with quantity 10. So I'm going to speed through these cards, and I'll get back to you in a few. All right, so for slabs, same exact concept, same backdrop. Might need to zoom out a bit. Get that centered. Again, I set this camera to 1:1 as far as the aspect ratio. Makes it a lot easier when I crop. Get this centered as much as possible. First is the front. And then the back. Same with the other two. Get it centered. Front and then back. Like I mentioned earlier, lighting is pretty important when it comes to taking pictures. So you do want to make sure that the lighting looks good. So this picture looks like the glare is a bit too much. So what I'm gonna do, no, that made it worse. That's fine. Front and back. Cool, I still got a few more to go. I'm gonna actually cut this video short because the camera seems to be overheating a bit. It lost connection a few times. In the next video, I'll go over listing these cards on eBay from beginning to end, as well as how I get these slabs up on the website. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next.